Hey guys, Brian Furlong here with Pitching Performance. We've got a slow motion video clip of Yovani Gallardo from May of 2011. This is going to be Yovani working out of the windup, and we've got two clips. The first one is him throwing a fastball, and the second is him throwing his overhand 12-6 breaking ball. A couple of things I wanted to point out in Yovani's delivery is what he does with his front side, his arm angle, and his body the posture of his torso as he delivers baseball, and then we'll also show some of the differences between his fastball and then his breaking ball. So I'll go ahead and get this clip started here. This is going to be a fastball. You can see he drops his hands. He's got a small step to the side, and then he goes into his pivot and up to his balance point. Once he gets to that balance point, he looks like most other pitchers. Now with his front side, you see his glove go way up in the air, actually above his head, and then drive back down towards his left hip. Okay, so Yovani, let's see here, I'll back this up a little bit. Yovani works, most pitchers either work closer to the way a Ferris wheel works, which would be kind of, obviously an over-the-top type of delivery. Some pitchers also work a little bit more like a merry-go-round, which would be a little bit more rotational. Okay, so if we watch Yovani's delivery, and you can kind of see right there where he goes when he separates his hands. His glove is moving out and up as his throwing arm is moving back and down. And you can actually see now, this is not at foot strike, but you can see at one point this is where his arms are. One is going back behind his body and down away from his torso, and his glove side is moving out and upward. And actually right now it's above his head at its highest point. And now as he starts to come forward, he's going to bring that glove side back in towards his body and down as he accelerates his throwing arm forward. Now here's what I wanted to talk about as far as posture in his torso. Okay, you can see his posture is not upright. He's actually kind of tilted to the side. Now just about everyone who throws from a high 3/4 or even over the top arm action, however you'd want to characterize this, there are people who go higher than this, but this is a pretty high arm slot. Everyone who throws from an arm slot like this is going to contort their torso the way that Gallardo has here. Okay, so if he was to make an adjustment with his arm slot by moving it down, rather than actually adjusting his arm slot, he would just adjust his posture so that he was more upright, and that would effectively bring his arm slot or arm angle down. Okay. Now he does a good job of squaring up his glove side. His glove side's square and strong with his target, strong in front of his body there. And as he works through, you can see he's getting right on top. He throws very downhill. He's got a fastball that reaches up into the mid-90s. And then he's got a really good, really solid 12-6 breaking ball that he throws in the low 80s. But he's over the last couple of years, last 3 years, I believe, he's struck out over 200 batters. He's carried an ERA somewhere in the mid threes, which is pretty solid. And he's thrown, I believe, in 2009 and 2010, he threw about 185 innings. Last year, he threw 207 innings. So, he's durable. He's a workhorse. He's getting it done for these guys. We'll go ahead and take a look here. Now, this is going to be the breaking ball. And again, he's going to do the same stuff here with this small step to the side. He's going to drop his hands down as he goes to his rocker step. You can see he also looks down. He actually breaks eye contact or breaks focus with his target, which isn't necessarily recommended, especially for younger players. But we're talking about an elite athlete right here who looks like he's just now picking up his target as he gets to his balance point. And right there's balance point. And in other videos we've kind of pointed out, he's got his lift leg knee moving up and back, closing off his hips. His back hip pocket is locked on his target. He's got good posture, good balance over that back side. And he's going to go down and out towards his target. He's keeping his weight over his back leg right there. And again, you see where the glove hand goes up. And then it's coming back towards his body. And boom, this is foot strike right here. Now, at foot strike, check out his elbows. Both of his elbows are below his shoulders. And this is something that a lot of people who have analyzed some video over the past, really over the past, 2 or 3 generations of pitchers have found to be one of the indicators that a pitcher's arm is going to stay healthier longer. If you take a look at guys like Greg Maddux, Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, guys like that who pitched successfully for 20 plus years in the big leagues and did it relatively injury free. At foot strike, they were all elbow slightly below shoulder. Okay, and you can see as he comes through, his elbow is actually going to end up above his shoulder. Okay, but at that position, elbow was below shoulder level. And you also take a look at guys who have blown their arms out. Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor, some of the most famous, just because they were big inverted W type of guys. Even Steven Strasburg's elbow would come up above his shoulder. Adam Wainwright, Joel Zumaya, who's had a ton of arm issues. So there is something to be said about it. And I've actually discussed it with orthopedic surgeons and physical therapists and kind of gotten an idea of what actually is occurring physiologically when your arm's in that position. And your shoulder capsule is really tightened up when that elbow lifts up the arm. And so, I can really see it putting a lot more stress on the arm, whether it's the elbow or the shoulder. Let's go ahead and I'm going to take this back just a little bit, and let's continue to talk about, kind of got off track there going to the arm action, but let's talk about his breaking ball here, okay? So you've got the position with his glove hand. You're going to see his posture come into play again. So he's going to want to get on top, and he's going to want to make this look exactly like his fastball as far as arm slot. And you can see he's getting on top. He's back to that high 3/4. And this film is a little blurry since it's a high-speed camera, and we're shooting in about 240 frames per second, I believe. But you can see where his hand is. His hand is on the outside part of the baseball. So his palm is facing his head or back towards his body. He's got his fingers on top, okay? And now as it comes out, you can see that his wrist comes through, and it doesn't hinge the way that you would shoot a basketball. It hinges like the way that you would essentially cast a fishing pole. Okay, so you've got the other hinge working here. His fingers are on top, and he's going to create tight forward spin and get that good downer bite. And he's also got a lot of good separation. So if he's throwing his fastball, 93, 95, 92, 95, somewhere in there. This breaking ball is coming in, typically 81, 82, somewhere in there. So he's got good separation. He's got good bite to it. It's a tough pitch to hit. That's Yovani Gallardo of the Milwaukee Brewers, kind of talking about some of the different things in his delivery as far as posture, arm angle, and then the differences between his fastball and his breaking ball.